Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Robbins, and welcome to Life, Death, and the Space Between. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and medium, and here we explore life, death, consciousness, and what it all means. It has been a long while since I've done a ghost story, and that is completely on me. I have fallen behind in sharing your ghost stories, but the ghost stories are back. I know they are a crowd favorite. If you have a ghost story to share, ghost stories are your stories, my listeners' stories about amazing signs and synchronicities and mystical experiences that you have had that you want to share. So if you want to share your ghost story, you can do it by clicking on my website. You'll see there's a link called Share Your Ghost Story. Make sure your ghost story is long. If it is just a little blurb, it's not something that I will share on the show. It should be about a page to a page and a half. Single spaced in order for me to share it, actually double spaced in order for me to share it on the show to make it long enough for an actual podcast. So today is a short one, but I am going to be sharing the other ones that have been submitted. Although if you did submit one and it was short, it probably won't be shared. So you're more than welcome to resubmit another podcast. Or another episode. But with that, I bring you today's ghost story. This story begins with my grandmother. She was a young girl and had a dream that her father died. She went to work the next morning in the cotton field. She looked up, saw her uncle and dad's friend walking toward her, and knew exactly what they were going to say. Fast forward to New Year's Eve 2009. I had been devastated by my mother's death in 2008. I lived about 150 miles from my parents. My dad suffered from dementia. My parents' other daughter, whom I describe as toxic and I did not get along with, lived 15 miles from them. She had moved into a rest home in his town around 2009. Neither my brother nor I were told. I tried to obtain the right to know about my father's welfare, to which he agreed to without question. But she obtained the power of attorney and forbade me to have any access to his info. I always visited him when I knew I would not run into her, and I last saw him on December 18th, 2009. On December 31st, 2009, the last dream I had before going to work was of my mom walking out of the Old Town Hospital. She said he just passed after midnight. It didn't feel like a visitation dream, but it still worried me very much. I told a coworker and my boyfriend that night. My boyfriend said it was nothing and dismissed it. New Year's Day, I was in the bathroom getting my makeup on. My boyfriend knocked on the door and asked me to come out. I told him I would be out in a minute. He persisted. Then I realized what he was going to say. I opened the door and said, "He's gone, isn't he?" He had passed away overnight. A while later, I remembered the story my mom had always shared with me about her mom's foreboding dream. I wondered, has history repeated itself? Thank you so much for sharing your ghost story with me. Again, if anybody else has a ghost story they want to share, please do so. You can do it on my website, dramyrobbins.com. We love to share your ghost stories. So go ahead, take the time to write in, and I am excited to get back to sharing these. Like what you heard today and want to hear more? Wondering what comes next and what it all means? Head over to Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere you get your podcasts and hit subscribe. Also, if you could take a minute to rate and review my podcast, I would really appreciate it. Stay tuned as we continue to explore life, death, and the space between.